Chosen one. You are not here by accident. Heaven has drawn you into this moment with purpose and precision. Your spirit was summoned because you are standing at the threshold of a supernatural shift, a divine vindication that will not be hidden. What felt delayed is now being accelerated, and what was stolen is returning multiplied. The Lord is preparing a table in the presence of those who doubted you, and the mantle of double honor is settling on your life. Anointed one, open your heart. A financial breakthrough. A divine wealth transfer is already moving toward you. Prepare yourself. Your season has begun. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every anointed life when heaven steps into the room, silences every false voice, and begins to reinterpret the story others tried to write about you. That moment is now. You know what it felt like when people walked into places you had never entered and spoke of you as if they had the right to define you. The sting you felt wasn't only betrayal, it was the shock of realizing how easily the hearts you once held could twist your purity into something you never were. I understand that feeling intimately. I've lived through seasons where my name became a canvas for other people's insecurities, where assumptions traveled faster than truth, and where silence felt like the only safe language left. I remember wanting so badly to defend myself, to speak, to explain, to correct, yet feeling that pull in my spirit, whispering the same thing God is whispering to you, now be still. It wasn't God silencing you, it was God protecting you. He knew that if you fought back, you would end up fighting battles beneath your calling. He knew that if you defended yourself prematurely, you would miss the opportunity for him to defend you publicly. So he shielded you in silence, not as punishment, but as preservation. And while you were quiet, heaven was working. What you thought was stagnation was actually sanctification. What felt like loneliness was preparation. Every false accusation became a brick placed carefully beneath your future platform. Every half-truth spoken about you became a chisel, carving out a deeper well of discernment inside you. And every moment someone misread you became training for the authority you are now stepping into. Chosen ones are always misunderstood because the purity they carry disturbs those who have grown comfortable in distortion. You didn't provoke the attacks. Your light did. When the anointing on your life begins to shine, it exposes motives, intentions, and spirits that would rather remain hidden. And instead of facing their own reflection, people project their fears, insecurities, and distortions onto you. But their voices never defined you. Their perceptions never shaped your truth. God used their misunderstanding to clarify your mission. He used their betrayal to reveal your boundaries. He used their distance to separate you from places that could not hold your destiny. You didn't realize it then, but heaven was taking inventory. Every lie spoken in secret was recorded. Every tear you cried alone was catalogued. Every moment you resisted the urge to retaliate became evidence of your spiritual maturity. Chosen one. The battle you faced was not to break you, it was to refine you. You were not losing, you were being sharpened. You were being prepared for a level of influence, visibility, and authority that cannot be carried by the unrefined. And here is the prophetic truth rising out of the ashes of everything you endured. The silence is ending. The hidden season is closing. The same voices that tried to bury your name are about to witness the God who raises you without permission. This next chapter of your life is not quiet vindication. It is public revelation. God is not just restoring your reputation, He is reintroducing you. Those who doubted you are about to see why heaven trusted you. Those who underestimated you are about to watch God elevate you. And those who thought you were finished are about to see that you were only being formed. I've learned firsthand that when God vindicates someone, He doesn't whisper it. He doesn't hide it. He doesn't negotiate it. He reveals it in a way that leaves no room for confusion, no gap for coincidence, and no question about who orchestrated it. Your fruit will speak. Your peace will testify. Your presence will shift atmospheres. The glow on your life will become the undeniable evidence that God Himself has stepped into your story. What they meant for harm is becoming the soil where your elevation will bloom. What they tried to weaponize is becoming the very reason God is promoting you. You are not stepping into a season, you are stepping into a divine unveiling. Heaven is not asking your permission. Heaven is executing justice. And the internal trembling you feel right now is the spiritual sign that the tables are turning. You didn't fight back, but God is fighting for you. You didn't explain yourself, but God is explaining you. You didn't chase validation, yet validation is now chasing you. Chosen one. You are standing on the edge of something holy, something generational, something heaven-appointed. And this is only the beginning. Chosen one, when God hides you, it is never to diminish you. It is always to develop you. There is a depth in you now that could only have been formed in silence. You may not have realized it, but heaven strategically removed you from certain people, places, and paths because they were not built to hold the weight of who you were becoming. What looked like rejection was actually redirection. What felt like abandonment was divine insulation, and what you perceived as loss was the pruning necessary for elevation. God hid you the same way a seed is hidden in soil, not to suffocate you, but to transform you. Even in my own life, I've learned that the seasons where it seemed like everything around me was falling apart were actually seasons where everything inside me was being rebuilt. In those quiet moments where my phone stopped ringing, plans dissolved, and familiar voices faded, God began to speak in a tone I had forgotten how to hear. It wasn't a loud voice, it was a steady one, convicting, comforting, and awakening all at once. That is what happened to you, chosen one. Heaven brought you into a sacred isolation because premature exposure could have destroyed what God was forming. There were places you wanted to stay simply because they felt familiar, but God knew they were too small for the assignment on your life. There were relationships you tried to hold on to out of loyalty, yet God knew they could not walk with you into destiny. So He removed you, not to punish you, but to preserve you. Like Moses hidden among the reeds, like David hidden among sheep, like Joseph hidden in prison, God places His anointed ones in obscurity before releasing them into visibility. The world saw absence, but heaven saw incubation. And in that hidden place, something irreversible happened inside you. You learned that being unseen does not mean being unworthy. You stopped performing for approval. You stopped explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped negotiating your identity for the sake of belonging. Slowly, the noise of external validation grew quiet, and the presence of God became your anchor. This is the kind of formation that only isolation can produce. It strips you of ego and equips you with discernment. It removes superficial attachments and reveals genuine purpose. It purifies your motives until only the assignment remains. Chosen one. Whether you realized it or not, you were being refined in ways that now make you unstoppable. When others were chasing platforms, you were being trained in private. When others sought attention, you sought alignment. While some people were building an image, God was building your character. The silence you mistook as stagnation was actually the season where God refined your oil, the very oil that will distinguish you in the next chapter of your life. And now the time of hiding is nearing its end. You can feel it. There is a stirring in your spirit, a rising within you that cannot be denied. It feels like pressure, but it is really emergence. The world is about to see what heaven has been crafting in secret. And this is why the accusations, the slander, the half-truths spoken about you had to happen. Not because God wanted you to suffer, but because elevation requires endurance. Anointing demands strength. Calling demands resilience. Chosen one. What they said about you was not sent to destroy you, it was sent to shape you. Every lie became the furnace that strengthened your resolve. Every misinterpretation became the teacher that sharpened your discernment. Every false narrative built the emotional and spiritual endurance required for the authority you're about to walk in. I've been through that fire myself. I've watched people construct entire stories around my silence, assuming my quietness meant guilt, apathy, or weakness. But silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is surrender. Silence is sacred. It invites God into battles you were never meant to fight in your own strength. And just like you, I learned that God does not need help clearing your name. He clears it in a way that no one else can question. He vindicates his chosen, not by shouting, but by revealing. Not by arguing, but by exalting. Not by proving the critics wrong, but by proving himself faithful. Chosen one. The accusations against you became the stepping stones for your elevation. They pushed you deeper into God because the opinions of people could no longer sustain you. They forced you to anchor your identity in truth, not perception. They taught you that favor is not proven by applause, it is proven by endurance. And perhaps the most powerful part of this entire journey is that heaven documented everything. Every tear, every betrayal, every whispered word spoken against you. Heaven recorded your restraint, your integrity, your surrendered heart. And heaven is not unjust. Your recompense is already in motion. So now you stand on the precipice of a supernatural turning. You are no longer the same person who walked into this battle. You are stronger, wiser, purer, more disciplined, more discerning, and more aligned. The shadows that once felt like punishment have become the incubator for your purpose. The people who walked away created the space for divine connections. The doors that closed cleared your path for the ones God is about to open, doors no man can shut. Chosen one, the hidden season is ending. What God has been doing privately in you is about to be revealed publicly around you. And this unveiling is not gentle, it is not subtle, it is not small. Heaven is preparing to validate you openly, and the first signs are already unfolding in your spirit. Chosen one, as you step out of the shadows of that hidden season, it is essential to understand that none of the accusations, none of the misunderstandings, and none of the betrayals were wasted. Heaven used them as chisels to carve depth into your spirit and authority into your voice. Every moment you stayed silent while people crafted false narratives about you became a spiritual investment into your elevation. And just as gold is refined only in fire, your character was refined only in the furnace of injustice. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it broke you in ways you were too embarrassed to admit. Yes, it made you question your own worth. But all of it, every last fragment of pain, was turned into preparation. There is a truth many people never grasp. Elevation is never birthed in comfort. It grows in the soil of misunderstanding. It sprouts in the drought of loneliness. It takes shape in seasons where no one applauds you, no one believes you, no one defends you, and no one understands you. That is where heaven does its deepest work. And chosen one, that is where God met you quietly, powerfully, intentionally. The gossip did not break you, it trained you. The slander did not shrink you, it stretched you. The lies did not derail your calling, they clarified it. I remember walking through a season where my own name had been dragged into circles. I never stepped into rooms I was never invited to, and conversations I was never aware of. It felt unfair, it felt exhausting, it felt humiliating. But over time I learned what you are learning right now. God allows false accusation only when He is preparing to bring undeniable elevation. He lets the lie run free long enough that when He reveals the truth, there is no confusion about who authored the vindication. The transformation becomes so dramatic, so supernatural, so untouchable, that even the ones who doubted you become witnesses to the glory unfolding around you. Chosen one. The lies spoken against you became the ladder God used to lift you. Let that settle in your spirit. Let it sink into the deepest places of your heart. The very words meant to destroy you became the momentum that pushed you higher. The same way Daniel's false accusations led him into the lion's den only to be exalted afterward, your trials are merely the prelude to your triumph. The same way Hannah's silent suffering became the soil for her miracle, your silent endurance is about to generate a public breakthrough. Heaven has seen every moment of unfairness, every undeserved tear, every battle you fought without witnesses, and heaven is not unjust. Heaven repays. You see, chosen one, there comes a moment in every destiny when God whispers enough. Now I will show them who my child really is. And when that moment comes, nothing, not the lies, not the critics, not the doubters, not the delay, nothing can stop what God is about to unveil. That moment is approaching in your life right now. The first signs are already appearing. You can sense the shift, the strange peace settling in your bones, the quiet strength forming in your heart, the increasing clarity in your spirit. These are not emotions, these are indicators of transition. Heaven is preparing to open its records concerning you. Heaven has kept track of every wrong done against you, not to punish others, but to vindicate you. There is a divine principle that many overlook. When God restores, He does not restore silently. He restores in a way that becomes a testimony. He restores in a way that becomes a warning to the enemy. He restores in a way that even those who dismissed you must acknowledge the hand of God. That is the kind of restoration you're stepping into. I've learned that God often waits until conversations about you have died, until your name is no longer on anyone's tongue, until the rumors have faded into the background, because that is exactly when His vindication hits the hardest. When no one is watching, when no one is expecting anything, when the world has moved on, that is when God moves. And He moves in a way that leaves people speechless. He moves in a way that leaves no room for coincidence. He moves in a way that places His fingerprints on every detail of your comeback. Chosen one, heaven has completed its documentation. Every betrayal, every manipulation, every subtle dig, they have all been filed in the archives of divine justice. Nothing was overlooked. Nothing was forgotten, not even the things you forgave, but still wounded you internally. God is preparing a revelation so clear, so undeniable, that the same mouths that lied about you will have no choice but to witness your rise. Your silence has spoken, your endurance has testified, your integrity has been recorded, and now your vindication is being scheduled. What heaven is about to reveal in your life is not revenge, it is redemption. It is restoration. It is spiritual promotion. It is the divine reversal that shifts everything. Chosen one, stay steady. Heaven is about to show the world who you are, because heaven is about to show the world who your God is. Chosen one, every season of your life has been leading to this moment, this quiet turning, this holy rearranging, this divine unveiling that is now approaching you with the force of destiny. What looked like silence was actually strategy. What felt like delay was divine timing reshaping your environment. And what you interpreted as being overlooked was really God clearing the atmosphere so that only the right witnesses would be present when He opens the next chapter of your story. Heaven has been preparing a table for you, but not just any table, a table arranged with precision, with prophetic intentionality, with the kind of spiritual detail only the hands of God can orchestrate. There were people you thought would walk with you into the future. People you imagined would celebrate your breakthrough, people you trusted to steward your heart. But heaven removed them, not out of cruelty, but out of mercy. Their presence would have contaminated the blessing. Their motives would have diluted the purity of your elevation. Their proximity would have jeopardized the divine timing attached to your next season. So instead of forcing relationships that were never rooted in destiny, God allowed certain chapters to close quietly, gently, and sometimes painfully. And though it hurt you, it saved you. Chosen one, the table. God is preparing for you is not a rushed table. It is not thrown together overnight. It is a royal table, and royal tables require time, patience, and sacred preparation. Long before you see the feast, heaven has already been arranging the chairs. Every delay was God removing the unqualified. Every closed door was God eliminating distractions. Every silent season was God protecting the space where your blessing would land. And now, as the pieces begin to fall into place, you are finally seeing that heaven was never late, it was meticulous. Behind the scenes, angels have been aligning people, places, and opportunities like pieces of a divine puzzle. You were not being slowed, you were being synchronized. You were not being held back, you were being positioned. And while others misinterpreted your stillness as stagnation, God was cultivating a depth in you that could sustain the magnitude of what He was preparing to release. This is why you couldn't rush the process. This is why shortcuts were blocked. This is why every counterfeit connection fell apart. You were being set apart, not sidelined. I've lived through seasons where God removed everything familiar, leaving me alone with nothing but questions and prayer. I didn't understand it then, but now I see the divine precision behind it. God wasn't taking things away, He was making room. He wasn't closing doors, He was clearing corridors. He wasn't isolating me, He was developing spiritual sight. And when breakthrough came, it was so perfectly aligned, so undeniably divine, that I realized nothing during that silent season had been wasted. Chosen one. Your own story mirrors this same spiritual architecture. You cried in secret, but not one tear hit the ground without heaven catching it. You lost things you would have kept forever, but heaven removed them because they could not carry the weight of your assignment. You felt forgotten by people, but you were never forgotten by God. Every unseen moment mattered. Every hidden sacrifice counted. Every lonely night was recorded. Heaven has not only documented your pain, it has honored it. And now the season of unveiling is drawing near. God is not just about to restore what was lost. He is about to multiply what was stolen. You are not stepping into recovery. You are stepping into recompense. This is the kind of vindication that cannot be manufactured, manipulated, or mistaken for coincidence. It is the kind of vindication that makes even your enemies say, "This is the Lord's doing." It is the kind of breakthrough that reveals the difference between human effort and divine intervention. When God prepares a table for a chosen one, He does it with full visibility. He doesn't hide His work, He magnifies it. He doesn't whisper vindication, He announces it. And this time, God is not just redeeming your name, He is elevating your identity. You are stepping into a chapter where your presence alone will shift atmospheres, where your obedience will open doors that talent never could, and where your humility will attract a kind of favor that cannot be replicated. Those who dismissed you will witness your rising. Those who questioned you will watch as God validates your calling. And those who tried to bury you will see that all they did was plant you deeper into purpose. What they meant for harm has become the very soil where your glory will grow. You are not coming back the same. You are emerging renewed, refined, and spiritually reinforced. Chosen one. The table is ready. The season is shifting. And heaven is preparing to reveal what it has been building in you all along. Stay steady. Stay expectant. Your unveiling is closer than you think. Chosen one. The moment heaven has been preparing you for is not simply a restoration, it is a revelation. What God has been building privately within you is about to be displayed publicly around you with a clarity that no voice, no lie, no rumor, and no manipulation can overshadow. This next season of your life is not subtle, it is not quiet, it is not delicate. It is a divine unveiling, a supernatural elevation, the kind of breakthrough that causes people to pause mid-sentence and whisper, "Only God could have done that." For so long you carried a vision that no one else could see. You held on to dreams that felt too fragile to share. You nurtured seeds in the dark that others would have uprooted if they had the chance. You served faithfully without applause, without affirmation, without visibility. There were days you questioned whether heaven still saw you, whether the promise was still alive, whether your heart could endure another disappointment. But what you didn't know was that heaven had been preserving you from premature exposure. God was shielding you from battles meant for a future you had not yet grown into. He was protecting your anointing from environments that would have drained you before your purpose had the chance to bloom. Chosen one. There are breakthroughs that come through effort and discipline, but then there are breakthroughs that come only through divine timing. You are stepping into the latter. This is the moment where the supernatural overrides the natural, where grace outruns gossip, where favor overtakes failure, where the hand of God lifts you into places you never auditioned for. You are not rising because of who you know, you are rising because of who knows you. And when God moves you, He does it in a way that even your enemies have to acknowledge His fingerprints. This is why the rejection you experienced was necessary. The ones who doubted you cannot take credit for what God is about to do. The ones who misjudged you cannot distort the testimony. The ones who walked away cannot claim they contributed to your rising. God made sure of that. He orchestrated your isolation to protect the purity of the story He is now preparing to release. I've lived through moments where doors that should have opened suddenly slammed shut, not because I was unqualified, but because God refused to let anyone else write chapters they were never called to narrate. What felt like setback was actually God safeguarding my destiny. And now you're experiencing the exact same spiritual architecture. Heaven has been designing a comeback so divine, so strategic, so beyond human effort, that no one, not even you, will ever be able to say, "It happened by chance." Chosen one, hear this in your spirit. You are not just stepping into visibility, you are stepping into validation. Divine validation, heavenly validation. The kind of validation that doesn't need applause to echo or permission to stand. When God vindicates you, He does it in a way that becomes a living prophecy. Your life becomes the sermon. Your rising becomes the evidence. Your peace becomes the rebuke to every lie spoken against you. There is a glow forming around you now, a glow born from private surrender, silent endurance, and holy obedience. It is the glow of someone who has been held by God in secret. The glow of someone who refused to let bitterness take root. The glow of someone who walked through the fire and did not come out smelling like smoke. That glow is not cosmetic, it is spiritual, and it is the first sign that heaven is about to make a public announcement using your life as the headline. Chosen one, do not shrink as God elevates you. Do not apologize for the doors He is opening. Do not downplay the blessings that are arriving. You have been hidden long enough. You have been overlooked long enough. You have been silent long enough. Now God is making your name a testimony of what endurance looks like when it is submitted to divine purpose. Prepare yourself. The same people who questioned you will witness your rise. The same people who doubted you will watch your transformation. And the same places where you were once dismissed will become the very ground where God displays His glory. Your season of unveiling is here, and heaven is ready to speak for you. Chosen one, as heaven prepares to bring you into this next dimension, there's a posture you must carry, one that distinguishes the elevated from the entitled, the anointed from the arrogant, the chosen from the common. This posture is called grace, and it will become your greatest proof of transformation. As God turns the tables in your favor, as the truth about your life rises to the surface, as vindication unfolds in ways that no human hand can interfere with, you will face a crossroads that every anointed vessel must confront. Will you rise in pride, or will you rise in purpose? Chosen one. Your victory is not meant to humiliate your enemies. Your elevation is not designed to embarrass those who mishandled you. Your breakthrough is not heaven's way of giving you permission to clap back. What God is releasing into your life is too holy, too costly, too intentional to be used as ammunition in an earthly battle. Heaven has not invested all this pruning, refining, and preparation just to watch you waste the blessing on petty revenge. No, the blessing coming toward you carries weight, carries responsibility, carries legacy. And this is where the true test begins. When the lies unravel on their own, when the gossip collapses under the weight of God's truth, when the ones who doubted you witness your rising, you will feel that human instinct, the urge to say, "I told you so." But chosen one, heaven calls you to something higher. The greatest revenge is not retribution, it is resurrection. Resurrection from shame, from false identities, from every attempt the enemy made to bury your calling. You don't need to prove anything. Your elevation is the proof. Your peace is the rebuttal. Your glow is the evidence. Your restoration is the closure. There comes a maturity that only the chosen ones understand, a maturity that whispers, "If God defended me, then I don't need to fight. If God lifted me, then I don't need to boast. If God vindicated me, then I don't need to justify anything." True elevation does not make you louder. It makes you deeper. It makes you clearer. It makes you more anchored, more discerning, more aligned with who God always intended you to be. In my own journey, there were seasons where vindication arrived, and the very people who once questioned my integrity came back with apologies, half-truths, or attempts to reconnect. Some returned with sincerity, others returned out of guilt or curiosity. But I learned something critical: forgiveness is required, but access is optional. You can forgive someone without placing your destiny back into their hands. You can release the bitterness without reopening the door. You can respond with grace without restoring their position in your life. This is not hardness of heart, it is stewardship of purpose. Chosen one. Your rise will attract two types of people: those who honor the anointing on your life, and those who only now recognize the value they once overlooked. Heaven will grant you the wisdom to know the difference. You will not move in pettiness. You will move in discernment. You will not respond out of emotion. You will respond out of spiritual alignment. You will not shrink to make others comfortable, nor will you inflate yourself to prove a point. You will simply stand rooted, dignified, and unshakably favored. This is what true vindication looks like: quiet strength, sacred confidence, a posture of peace, a heart that knows God handled what you could not. When Joseph met the same brothers who betrayed him, he didn't retaliate, he restored. But restoration didn't come from naivety, it came from discernment. He saw purpose where others saw betrayal. You are being invited into that same kind of vision, a vision that sees beyond offense, a vision that recognizes divine orchestration even in human error. A vision that understands what they meant for harm, God meant for good. Chosen one. The world will witness your elevation, but heaven is watching your posture. Let your humility echo louder than the applause. Let your peace speak louder than your defense. Let your presence carry the weight of divine favor without demanding recognition, because the spotlight ahead of you is not yours, it is God's. What He is about to display through your life is not your glory, it is His faithfulness. Your story is becoming a demonstration of what it means to wait well, to suffer silently, and to rise without hate. Chosen one, move with dignity, walk with grace, and let God finish what He started in you. Chosen one. Now that heaven has released this word into your spirit, your next step is not passive, it is prophetic. This is no longer merely a message for you to hear. It is a mantle you are called to carry. You have walked through enough wilderness, enough warfare, enough misunderstanding to realize that God wastes nothing. Every tear, every rejection, every unanswered question has been turned into oil. You are not stepping forward as the same version of yourself that entered those storms. You are emerging whole, strengthened by fire, purified by waiting, and stabilized by grace. Chosen one, you must now walk differently. Your identity has shifted. Your spiritual posture has matured. The battles that once overwhelmed you no longer intimidate you because you have seen what happens when you let God fight for you. This new season demands intentionality, intentional obedience, intentional peace, intentional integrity. This is not the time to slip back into old patterns or familiar cycles. Heaven has repositioned you, and you must move like someone who knows they carry an assignment. In your relationships, walk with discernment, not desperation. Understand that not everyone who lost access to you is meant to regain it. Guard your connections the way you guard your calling. In your inner life, protect your peace as fiercely as you once protected your pain. Keep your heart open to forgiveness, not because others deserve it, but because your destiny requires it. And in your daily decisions, let integrity lead you, especially when no one is watching, because heaven is always watching. Chosen one, don't underestimate the weight of what God has just entrusted you with. When God vindicates a person publicly, it means He can now trust them privately. You are now carrying a revelation that must be lived, not merely felt. Your life from this point forward becomes the evidence. Evidence that grace is not just a spiritual idea, it is a force that restores, resurrects, and repositions. Evidence that endurance produces elevation. Evidence that humility carries a power pride will never understand. Evidence that what God begins, God finishes. There will be temptations to perform, to prove yourself, to respond to old attacks with new confidence. Resist them. Your fruit is your response. Your peace is your protection. Your purpose is your vindication. Let your transformation be louder than your explanation. Let your consistency speak louder than any defense could, and most importantly, chosen one, move with intention. Each step you take now carries the momentum of heaven behind it. You are not just surviving, you are rising. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. Every moment ahead of you has been carved by the same divine hands that carried you through the darkness. This is your time to live like you are loved, chosen, protected, and divinely backed. Your elevation explains everything. Your presence will testify. Your destiny is unfolding, and heaven is not finished with you yet. Chosen one, before this word settles fully into your spirit, heaven is inviting you into a moment of stillness, a holy alignment, a sacred pause, where what you have heard becomes what you will live. This is not just another message that brushes past your mind. This is a divine impartation, a spiritual commissioning that marks the beginning of a new chapter. You're not leaving this moment the way you entered it. You're stepping out with renewed clarity, deeper spiritual strength, and a fresh mantle of authority resting upon your life. Chosen one, take a breath. Let your heart quiet. Let your soul rise. You have been carried through battles that no one around you fully understood. You faced storms in silence, trusting that God was doing something in the unseen. And now, heaven is inviting you to release every remaining residue of fear, disappointment, confusion, or betrayal. Lay it all down, not for pity, but for purpose. Nothing you walked through was wasted. Nothing you endured was invisible. God has been shaping you in the shadows so that you could stand strong in the light that is now beginning to break over your life. This is the moment to surrender the weight, the questions, the timelines, the hurts you have carried on your own shoulders for too long. Heaven is saying, "Give it to me now. Let me finish the work you cannot complete in your own strength." Chosen one, the tables are already turning. Even now the spiritual realm is shifting, aligning and preparing everything required for the next phase of your destiny. God saw the moments you wanted to quit. He saw the quiet breaking points. He saw the nights where your faith hung by a thread. And He preserved you not because you were strong, but because you were chosen. Now heaven is calling you into a new posture, not survival, stewardship, not self-protection, purpose, not striving, surrender. You are not the victim of your story. You are the vessel God has been shaping, polishing, refining, and preparing. The pain did not disqualify you. The delays did not diminish you. The betrayals did not break you. They built you. And now your life is about to reveal the kind of glory that only comes through those who have trusted God in the dark. Chosen one, as you step from this moment into your next, carry yourself like someone who has been spoken for by heaven. Move like someone who is covered. Act like someone who is backed by divine authority. Your next steps matter. Your decisions matter. Your posture matters. Heaven is not finished. The story is still unfolding, and the greatest chapters are the ones you have not yet read. So walk differently. Walk with grace, not resentment. Walk with wisdom, not impulse. Walk with a spirit that honors what God has done in you, not what others attempted to do against you. Let your life now become the answer to someone else's doubt. Let your transformation become the evidence. Let your growth become the testimony. Chosen one, you have been planted, not buried, preserved, not forgotten, protected, not overlooked. And now heaven is calling you to rise, not to boast, but to bless, not to be seen, but to shine His light in places that desperately need it. Everything ahead of you has been carved by the same divine hands that held you in the darkest seasons of your life. This is your moment. This is your shift. This is your mantle, and heaven is ready to seal it. Chosen one, as we come to the close of this sacred message, let your spirit remain open, steady, and expectant. You are not leaving this moment empty. You are leaving covered, confirmed, and spiritually commissioned. Heaven has already begun the work. The transfer has already been activated. Your vindication is not approaching, it is unfolding. You are standing in your Kairos moment, the exact divine timing where everything God promised begins to take shape in the natural. Chosen one, walk forward, knowing that nothing can overturn what heaven has authorized. What was withheld is being released. What was hidden is being revealed. What was delayed is being accelerated. God is lifting you not to display your strength, but to display His faithfulness. Move with reverence. Move with confidence. Move with the quiet assurance that heaven is backing every step you take. May grace clothe you. May peace surround you. May divine clarity guide you. And may the favor appointed to your name find you swiftly and openly. Let your heart stay aligned, your posture stay humble, and your faith stay unshaken. What's coming is not small. What's coming is not subtle. What's coming is God's public signature over your life. If this word resonated with your spirit, chosen one, you may type Amen as a declaration of agreement. And if you feel led, you may subscribe and stay connected, not out of routine, but to remain aligned with the flow of what God is doing in this season. Go in peace, go in power, and go knowing heaven has spoken and your vindication has begun.